Hello and welcome, my little hatchlings. If you are new, welcome to the clutch. Today in this video, I will be sharing some backstories about me, so then you can get to know me a little better. Yes, I am reading from my iPad because my mind will fly away. Shall we begin? I am Reba the Dragon Venom. I live in the USA, Colorado, but I'm not going to tell you what town that I live in. Oh, hell no, I'm not going to do that. For good reasons. Anyways, you will see me wearing these elf ears quite a lot, and I might wear something else more interesting, like my dragon horns that I made, but they broke. They broke. Sometimes I like to go shopping with these elf ears on, and you should see the look on those people's faces. I live in a small town with a bunch of country folk. You know, like cowboy hats and cowgirl hats and stuff like that.
Hey, honey, what is that? What is that?
Those are the type of looks that I get. But you know what? Doesn't bother me because I'm me. I'm just me. I love making art in general. It fills me with joy and passion to create something wonderful. The biggest thing about me showing off my art are the reactions I get from people. I would love to see comments about my art. Please tell me if you love it, like it, hate it, or something. But I hope you like it. The mediums that I enjoy creating art from are digital drawing, pencil drawing, painting, and sculpting. My favorite medium is digital art because my main project is being created from it. I will get to that in a different video, so stay tuned. I have been drawing for about 30 plus years. My mom says that I've started drawing since I was 3. I believe her. When I was a little child, I remember drawing stuff like dinosaurs and Lion King characters. When Lion King came out in theaters, me and my sister would just draw all kinds of Lion King stuff. It was Simba Nala this, Simba Nala that. My dad never knew I could draw until I had to have surgery when I was 7 years old. I had the appendix taken out, perforated appendix. Man, I tongue twist on that word a lot. Have you? During that time, the only thing I cared about in that room was to draw. So the nurses gave me a bunch of paper and pencils and some crayons to work with. I was happily drawing everything I can. So I made a drawing for each and every nurse of all the Lion King characters. Every single one of them, even the bad guys. But the nurses loved it. I even heard one of them tell me that I'm so talented. Back then, I did not understand what that meant. The only thing I understood is that, hey, it made the grown-ups happy. I should do more. So I kept drawing more. And of course, my dad, when he found out, he was like, "You can draw? Wow." Now that I think about it, he was so proud to know that both me and my sister can draw because we do it all the time together. As I got older, I got more serious about my art. I wanted to draw dragons better. I learned about dragons when I was like 10 years old in 4th grade. That's when I saw my very first dragon movie called Dragonheart. Love that classic. So I drew that dragon exactly. Well, I wasn't really that well skilled yet, but I drew the horns and stuff and it looked like a mohawk at first, but I'll show an example on another video. When I grew to my preteen years, I started to draw Pokemon because it was brand new at that time and it was like a new, thing. Fell in love with Pokemon, especially Mewtwo. Really like Mewtwo a lot. And then I fell in love with other Pokemon like Charizard, Lugia, Pikachu, you name it. So I drew them, loved to play video games of them. So, and me and my sister, we would make stories about the Pokemon that we liked, you know, we have silly little stories about them, you know. But my favorite character of all the classic uh Pokemon shows was James from Team Rocket. As you can see, I like the hairstyle. And I loved his goofy attitude. I didn't really start painting until I started going to high school. That's when I was introduced to acrylic paints by the art teacher that was there. Fell in love with it. He taught me how to shade, how to highlight, how to position things correctly. He taught me about focal point. He taught me about many different art perspectives, and I learned a lot in the high school art class. If you don't know what focal point is, I'm pretty sure that most artists would know about that, but if you don't know, what focal point is like the artist will draw something to be drawn attention to on that one specific thing. Like if I were wanting people to look at a specific thing, I would have a focal point of it, you know? Like an example, I would draw a dragon holding like a orb of some sort, and like the orb has some kind of symbolic thing about it, and I want people to look at it. I'll be like drawing the dragon holding it just like that, or maybe just like this. I don't know. I would think of something, but that's what focal point is. It's to draw the attention to that one thing on a piece of art. It could be on a drawing, painting, maybe even a sculpture. I don't know. Well, maybe a few sculptures had some focal points to it. So I did not get introduced to sculpting until I went to this pottery class. This was when I was in an alternative school because I kept dropping out. Like I dropped out like twice from high school. Complications, you know, teachers, and I did not get picked on very much. I mostly, I don't know, like if someone comes up to me, "Hey, you got baggy pants." Yeah, I do. I mean, that would be my attitude when it comes to anyone trying to point something out to tease me about. I would just basically stare at them and be like, okay, and your point is? Like, at that moment, it didn't dawn on me they were trying to make fun of me. It felt like, to me, it felt like, why is this idiot pointing something out that is actually there when I already know it's there? I would stare at them trying to figure out what the hell they're trying to talk about or point out to. They eventually gave up because I didn't react the way they wanted me to. I didn't cry. I didn't about it. I just stared at them like, and? Like, go away. I'm trying to draw. So back to the pottery stuff. When I was in the alternative school, which is mostly for like misbehaving kids and stuff or dropouts and stuff, I was the only one that was actually the quiet one and actually did my homework. I don't know, like so many complications. Like I was going through depression, stuff like that, parents divorced, this and that. A lot of things. I really don't want to talk about it right now. So, but this pottery class, I was introduced to it and I fell in love with it because the instructor there, like I thought it was going to be like, oh, I'm just going to make a bunch of bowls and plates and cups and stuff. But she actually encouraged me to make statues that I always wanted to, because in her mind, I'm the more unique one. And she was like, yeah, I would love to see that, you know? She was more encouraging on that part. And that excited me when I finally got into that class. So I made quite a few projects. On another video, I will show you what those projects are that I have created from there. And I have stories of how I created it and why I created it. And I'm excited to show you that. So I mentioned earlier that I did not fit into school. And in 8th grade, I tried to be a popular girl. I tried to be, into the popular crowd because I had a crush on a boy that was a popular boy, one of the football players, all that yada yada, but never worked out. Don't ever try to be something you're not, because it does not work. Does not. I'm more of a tomboy over here with gothy looking things. I mean, some people even come up to me and ask me, "Are you a goth?" I look at them like, I don't label myself as a goth. I'm just me. I'm just Reba. Okay, that's just who I am. I mean, I could like goth one day and I could like anime cutesy stuff the next day. I don't know. But the way I dress is just my comfort, So after a while, having a crush on that boy and stuff, after I knew that it would not work, did not work, it just backfired on me very badly. Rather not talk about it right now, okay? I might talk about it on another video. I don't know. But so I started having a crush on someone that was not in school. So I chose a celebrity. I chose what I thought was the cutest celebrity I could ever find that I could relate to. And that celebrity is Lance Bass from Nsync. Back then in my mental state, I chose Lance Bass because at that point I was thinking, oh, he's, rich and famous and blah, like get married to him and live happily ever after. Those are the kinds of things that went through my teenage brain. And of course I didn't know about the real world. I didn't know what I could have as potential. Of course I didn't know that because I was a teenager. I was still young, But I learned, but it took a while for me to learn that. So I started getting really into being obsessed with Nsync, so much to where I literally talked about marriage with Lance Bass, and that's all I talked about was that. I never talked about what I could do. I only talked about what they can do. So that was part of my mental state that I was going through. I don't know what to call it at that time, but it was a big thing when I was from 15 till 20 years old. Yeah, it went on that long. I didn't fully mature until I grew to maybe 21 years old. I didn't really mature yet until then. So my mental state was just pretty serious. Pretty serious. Now, speaking of Nsync, along with me being obsessed with Nsync back then, I still like their music. I still respect them as people. I don't have a crush on Lance Bass anymore. I mean, I know he's gay. I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he moved on with someone he truly can connect. I mean, that's what I have to say about him. So I still like listening to their music. I mean, their music is pretty awesome to me. I still like it. But I want to tell you guys something unique that I did come up with during those years of me being 15 till 21. I have created short stories of Nsync in comic book form. Not professional. This is more like amateur comic book form. What I mean by that is that when I was 15, I wanted to make something. I wanted to make something interesting. So I saw my sister making comic books with her friends, and I thought I could do the same thing, Like I want to entertain myself. I want to make something interesting. So I had lots of stories, lots of ideas, and I wanted to draw all of that. So I gathered a bunch of paper and I used a hole puncher to punch on the edge of the, here, let me use this as an example. So here's the paper. I punched holes, like 3 holes on one end, put twister ties right through each hole, and I made like a book, and I started drawing in them, making a story. My dad, he saw what I was doing, and he wanted to help me a little bit, just to help me make a little project. So he put duct tape right there on the spine. So then when I made more books like that, he drilled the holes instead of me with the hole puncher, which was so much easier to okay, there we go. There's some holes. It was so much easier. But so the very first small book that I made of Nsync, it's a silly story, but I made a story about a werewolf encountering Nsync. So I call it Nsync and the Werewolf. I'm not kidding. There's a mysterious werewolf in the neighborhood that Nsync lives at, and that werewolf bites one of them. One of them became a werewolf. So that one is, of course, Lance Bass. He became the werewolf. So I have it into the story where Justin comes walking into the house that they're staying at during tour, and he sees Lance just turning into a werewolf. Now that I think about it, it's kind of funny. To me, it's kind of funny, but Justin's like, oh no, he's turning into a werewolf. But later in the story, the werewolf thing kind of faded, but what I wanted the mysterious werewolf to be was, I wanted it to be Britney Spears for the longest time. But then I thought, maybe I shouldn't. I should just, nah, I don't know. But, it was a silly story. I don't know if I'll actually use it. But it's part of my memory as when I was younger. Now, with that Nsync stuff, of course, after the werewolf, the Nsync and the werewolf book, I started getting more serious about it. I started, falling in love more into making stories about Nsync and whatever else that I come up with. So I wanted to come up with a main title, because I knew that I was going to make multiple books. So I called the title 5 Hearts in One. 5 guys in one group. That's the title that I had for that long moment, with about 4 or 5 books of Nsync. I don't know how many I made, but I made quite a lot of them. Just bundles of paper with drilled holes and the twist ties and duct tape or scotch tape, whatever kind of tape that we had at the moment. It's amateur comic books. No, I did not publish them. No, I'm not going to publish them. But the stories themselves are gold. I will use the stories. But later in this video, I will tell you my idea about that. I'm gonna get there, okay? So during those years from 15 till 21, I have made books like Nsync in the Forbidden Forest, Nsync in the White Anubis, Nsync Goes to Space, things like that I have made. Some of the story points was kind of and the other story points, like some of the plots in those stories, I want to keep because they have potential. They are unique. So I will be using them in my other project that I would love to talk to you about, but I'm not there yet. I will get there. I will. So when I turned the age of 21 or 22, that's when the alternative school basically said, hey, you're too old for this school, but here's something else where you can go to get your high school diploma, so then I can go to college and all that. So they suggested that I should go to a place called Job Corps. So Job Corps, I agreed to it because I wanted to get that high school diploma. Excuse me. So the first time I showed up at Job Corps, let me show an example how I talk to people in Job Corps. I would look down and I would be fiddling with my shirt. I would not look at people in the eye to talk to them. I wouldn't. It's because of how my mental state was like. I was very shy, very timid, very scared to talk to people back then. But in Job Corps, I was pretty much forced to talk to people, to engage with people. In Job Corps, there was 5 dorms, 3 dorms for boys and 2 dorms for girls. I was lucky enough to be sent to the newest dorm, which had the better, I don't know. I don't know if it's best. I really don't know. I just stayed there. It was new. I heard it was new. So we stayed there. I stayed there. But I was still kind of into the Nsync thing until I started making friends, until I started hanging out with people and actually getting to know people, getting to know myself, especially getting to know myself. That right there, it wasn't heartbreaking to me. It was more of an eye-opener that I got to connect with people and actually become friends with people. It was amazing. I mostly had guys for friends. I don't know, like I just hung out with more guys than girls. But it worked out for me, and those guys, they treated me like one of them. So with the Job Corps that I went to, they had both a high school and a trade school. So I had to pick a trade. So my trade that I picked is welding. There was a few students that were shocked that I picked welding. They thought I would pick the office work or something. No, I wanted the big toy stuff. I wanted to learn about welding. It's because I kind of wanted to learn how to use tools like that to make metal statues. Me, being an artist, I wanted to say, hey, I would like to make metal statues at some point. Like maybe my own garage that is a welding shop or something, I think that would be pretty cool. Or some kind of shop, some kind of shed that I can make into a welding shop. I don't know how it's gonna be, but in the future I might have something like that. I just don't have it yet. when I started doing the welding stuff, I realized I was the only female during my welding weeks. You see, each week would switch. Like week 1 would be welding, week 2 would be education, which is school. So it would always switch. Every week it would switch. But during the week I had to go to welding, I was the only female. At first, I was a bit shy about that. Was like, oh no, there's a bunch of guys here. How are they going to treat me? Are they going to treat me like, I don't know. I just didn't know. But they quickly realized I was not a girly girl. I didn't, cry about broken nails or whatnot. That's what they thought I would do. But no, I did not. But we connected really well, especially when I listened to their stories about their hunting stories, hiking stories, even farting stories. I freaking loved it. There was this one point where this guy realized I was sitting there listening to them. He's like, guys, there's a girl in here. There's a girl. Hush down. And I was like, no, continue. I want to hear this. Because they were talking about fart stories that I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear the punchline. Because farts are funny, okay? Now, the most fun that I had in all of Job Corps is the robotics event. Oh my God, that was the most fun that I ever had. So robotics is where a team of students sign up for it, and especially if they are, well-behaved. If they are naughty, they can't go. If they're well-behaved, they can go. Okay, so I was one of the well-behaved ones. So I signed up to design little button things that you can put on your shirt. You know, those like little button pin things that you see on, yeah, you get what I mean. All right, so they wanted me to draw something for the pins. And the mascot our team is bald eagle. So I drew the eagle holding the game pieces of the robotics game. I thought that was pretty cool. Everybody else liked it, so we so we used that for our little button pins. The teacher, we're going to call her Mrs. S or Mama S, okay? She made me in charge of the designing stuff. So I can't remember how many students that I had working with me on this, but I think it was maybe about three students, including myself, maybe 4. I can't remember. But there were some people that needed to make the little button things, because there was these plastic covers. Here's the base of the button. You had to put the drawing right there, put the plastic there, and then you had to put this thing down and do that. And there was like about 2 students doing that. There was another student that was cutting the design out that I have printed out, because I drew just one thing and then we put it on this copier machine that printed out a bunch of circular things, so then we can just cut them out and then put them in the little button thing. I don't know what it's called, but I think I described it well enough. I have a funny story to share with you guys in this classroom, okay? So in this classroom that we were doing this button design in, it's the reading and writing classroom where Mama S is in. I love Mama S. But anyways, so I come in and I decided to bring my farting machine. I decided to bring that farting machine, and I had it in my backpack along with their little remote, okay? And this thing, it can echo. It's pretty loud, and it's got raunchy ones in there. So I knew I needed a pair of scissors. And the pair of scissors was on a shelf that's behind Mama S. Okay? So I take the speaker, I go behind her. She's just busy at her desk, just whatever she's doing, okay? Probably grading people's papers or whatnot. I didn't look because it's none of my business. But I went behind her and I just told her, oh, I'm just getting a pair of scissors. I need to cut some stuff out. She was like, okay, go for it. All right, so I put the speaker, turn it on. I put it behind her. I grab the pair of scissors and I go back to my seat. So I go back to my seat. I'm holding the remote. The other students that are with me, there's only one that knew what I did because I told her what I was doing. And she's like, oh my God, did you do? I was like, yeah, I did. So we sit there and we're trying to be quiet. 5 minutes pass. I push the button and you hear this. Mrs. Stites goes, she sits back down. She didn't say nothing. I'm trying so hard not to laugh. I'm like, but I didn't make it look obvious. I was like, 5 minutes later, after we settled down a little bit, I push it again. It was even louder than the last one. It was like, and then she goes, who's flagellating in my class? I busted out laughing. I laughed so freaking hard. She said, Reba, are you flagellating my class? How dare you fart in my class? I laughed even more. I couldn't breathe. It was so funny. Oh my God. Then after I calmed down a little bit, I told her I could pick up the speaker. She was like, no, leave it there. There's other students coming in. I was like, okay, Mama Stites. So I sit back down. Not even 5 minutes later, this other student comes in. He comes in. We're going to call him Mr. G. He stands in front of Mrs. S's desk. And as soon as he puts his arms up like this to greet her, I push the button. And it sounded so raunchy, rock rolling type of fart. And she goes, Mr. G, how dare you flagellate in my classroom? He goes, I'm sorry, Mama S. I just came in to say hi. Oh my God. Oh, it was so funny. It was perfect. I couldn't stop laughing. We were all cracking jokes about it. I love Mrs. S because she has the best sense of humor. She's always cracking a joke. She always made class so much fun. She made reading so much fun. She made everything about her class so much fun. It was never boring in that class. She's always chipper, which it just made class so much easier, which was a huge difference between the high school I was in, because the high school that I was in, most of the teachers just did not have a sense of humor. They were just, I don't know, like, but there were some that had good sense of humor, but just, I wish all of them did, you know? So that farting machine was my way of breaking the ice. There's another story that I got to share with you with that farting machine. So as I was a brand new student sorry. Anyways, as I was a brand new student in Job Corps, I'm still so shy and stuff, but there's this girl that was leading me around. She's giving me a tour and stuff, and then I showed her my farting machine just to break the ice, okay? Because I want to make friends, I want to laugh, I want to have fun with people, okay? And she said, hey, why don't I put this in my pocket and you just keep the remote in your hand and we'll just walk around and you make me fart. Okay, sure. So I let her have the thing in her pocket. It's like a big old fart speaker thing. She has it in her pocket. So we're walking by a big group of boys, okay? She goes, "Hi, boys." I press the button. She it farts, and then like, "Oh, that's so nasty." I'm laughing behind her because I didn't expect them to do that. But the funniest part, you see, she walked by lots of people. I pushed the button. They would say, "Oh, that's so nasty. What is that?" But there's this one. Okay, so how I mentioned that there's 5 dorms, okay? Huge rule in the Job Corps area. Nobody else is supposed to visit a dorm unless invited, okay? So, and only invited by staff members, not by students, okay? So she lives in a different dorm than I do. She's in the other dorm, okay? So I have to stand outside and wait for her. She had to go inside to go get something. She still has the speaker in her pocket. I'm standing there with the remote in my hand, and I'm like, I look at the remote. I look at the door. I look at the remote, and I was like, Boop. And then I hear this, "I swear it's not me." That's all I hear. She comes back out. She's pissed. She's like, "Reba, you almost got me in trouble." She hands me the speaker back. But she wasn't that mad at me. We laughed it off later. Back to the robotics thing. So the robotics trip, so amazing. I loved it. Like, the first trip that we went to is Las Vegas. Las Vegas. This was obviously my very first time being in Las Vegas. And I was excited because I get to see all the pretty lights on all the buildings and whatnot, be in a big city for once, you know? Not my first time being in a big city, but it's been a long time since I've been in a big city, okay? So in Las Vegas, we visited many different places in Las Vegas. We visited the Hoover Dam. We got to visit there. We got to have a little tour in there. It was a lot of fun. We got to see the monument of this angel statue that's made out of copper, I think. But another place that we got to visit was the M&M's factory, I think, or unless it's like some kind of gift shop. I don't know. I really don't know. All I do know is they had a lot of chocolate, so I bought some chocolate. So the other place that we visited is called Excalibur. It's a dinner and a show. And the live performance that they did is like medieval time type of thing. You know, they had the medieval type setup, horses and, you know, people in armor and stuff, sword fighting. And it was a lot of fun. And we got to eat our food with fingers, with our fingers. Not other people's fingers. I'm talking about my own. You people are sick. Anyways. No, I got to, you know, like a big broccoli stick. Got to eat that like that. And huzzah! You know, cheer for your team. That's the cheer that we learned in the Excalibur before the tournament. So me and the other students, we decided to go huzzah every time we make a score in the tournament. But this is a day before the tournament. So we're having our food. We're eating our broccoli and our chicken and I think we had bread. Yes, we had bread and we had some potatoes with that. Then, of course, we had the wet wipes to wipe our fingers, make sure everything is all nice and sanitized. And during this trip, nobody was allowed to have any alcohol, not even the staff members. Even though I was 22 years old, but I was still not allowed to have alcohol because in Job Corps, any student that is in Job Corps cannot have any kind of alcohol, marijuana, or nothing like that. Except for smoking cigarettes if you're of age. But back then, people of 16 could have it. No, it was 18. I think it was people of 18 can have cigarettes. Back then it was, at that point. It was 2010, I believe. Yeah, it was 2010 that back then people in America was able to buy cigarettes at age of 18 until it changed a few years ago. But that's not during Job Corps. Not during Job Corps. Kind of wished, but no. The other trip that we went to is Denver. Denver was pretty fun. We got to visit a fancy restaurant, and we also got to, swim in the swimming pool of the hotel. But the most fun that we got to go to is, it was my first time being at a game, a professional game place. It was a hockey game of professional hockey players. Oh my God, it was so fun. I can't remember which team we were, I can't remember which team I was cheering on, but it was just fun to watch the whole thing. It was cold, of course, but, we enjoyed it. The cold doesn't bother me very much. Does not. At least I don't complain about the cold. Like, if it's really cold, and I'm like, of course I would complain about that. But if it's a little chilly, put on a jacket. I've had, okay, I gotta mention this one thing. There was this one girl that I could not stand talking to her, but there was this one time that she was complaining that it was cold, and I told her, put on your trade jacket. And she's like, it's not cute enough. Then why are you complaining to me that it's cold? Put on a jacket. Simple as that. After graduating Job Corps, I was more bummed out that I don't get to see my friends anymore. I was very bummed out. Like, I did not want to stop hanging out with them. Like, they were a lot of fun to hang out with. I can't remember how many friends that I had. It was definitely more than 10 people that I would hang out with, and I never expected myself to have that many friends. But there's some that I still have in contact with. There's some. But all in all, it was well worth it to go to Job Corps. And on the day that I was graduating, after I, went into my dad's truck to go back home, I was so sick. I felt like I was gonna puke. Like, oh, that's all gone. Oh, it's all gone. Like, if those of you know what Job Corps is, there's a lot of strict rules. Lots and lots of strict rules. And I had to sacrifice my pride for those rules so that I can get what I actually came for. I kept reminding myself, I'm here for the high school diploma. That was my biggest goal for Job Corps, just so I can go to college. So, in Job Corps, I was not allowed to wear skulls of any kind. Did not matter. I was not allowed to wear stuff like this. And I'm pretty sure I was not allowed to wear anything like this unless if it was Halloween or Christmas. But I didn't have elf ears back then. I had vampire fangs. But I wore those when I wanted to. I kind of broke a little bit of rules, a little bit. But the one rule that I hated the most is tucking in the shirts. I hate tucking in my shirt. I like my shirt flowing. I like to feel the breeze from under my shirt onto my body, okay? I don't like tucking in my shirt. It's not comfortable for me. No, I don't like it. I found ways around it sometimes. There was, like, during the winter, from cold spring, winter, and cold fall, I could get away with that with a hoodie, zipped up, and I don't have to tug in my shirt. If they found out, I don't know. I didn't go that far. But there was a lot of rules and stuff, and there was quite a few that I had to follow, but there was some that I did not follow 100%. I do have to say that. But I do have to say it was well worth it for meeting people, getting myself out of that mental state that I mentioned earlier about being obsessed with Nsync, thinking that my future is all connected with them. Right now, if I met Nsync face to face, that would be amazing. I would be excited, but I don't expect much, with my books. Yeah, I just mentioned it. But like I said, I don't expect Nsync to do any kind of movie deals with me or whichever type of deals with me. If I do meet them, I meet them. If I don't, then I don't. I'm not going to make that into my big goal. My big goal is something else. Something else. And I will share that in a future video. Now, before I end this video, there's a couple of things I am going to show you right now that will be very important, especially when I'm showing my drawings. A lot of people are going to notice this, and I don't want people thinking one thing or another, okay? So, this is my very first logo that I have designed, okay? I don't use this logo anymore for my business stuff, but I will use it for something else, okay? I'm still proud of this logo. It still looks pretty nice. I have put it on older drawings of mine from, I can't remember what year and stuff, but I've used it on some of my older stuff. So you will be seeing that on some of my drawings. I don't want to show the drawing that I was showing the logo on because it's kind of I don't think YouTube would allow that. I mean, it's got something on there that shouldn't be on there. Adult stuff. When I draw the adult stuff, I would be putting it on Patreon or Fur Affinity. So, here is my newest logo that I use now. Of course, you see this on my channel. It's my Dragon Venom Ventures logo. I purposely designed it that way for many personal reasons, but every time I thought about creating a new logo, this would appear in my mind. The logo itself, this would appear in my mind. Not the Baphomet, but the dragon face. A dragon. So, I made it. It's mine. I'm happy with it. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to keep it that way. Now, the reason why I showed those two logos is because I didn't want people thinking, oh, that's a different logo. Someone just stole that person's art, or you're stealing other people's art. No, I don't do that. I draw my own stuff. If I see a pose that someone drew and I would love to have that pose, I might trace a little bit, just at least like a stick figure doing that pose, but I will draw my own character making that pose. That's what I would do. I don't like the idea of copying other people's stuff because that's just wrong. That is theft. Because I don't want someone else doing it to me. Now, if I had a drawing with a nice, you know, like an awesome fighting pose and someone traced a stick figure doing that pose and then they draw their own character doing that, I would be impressed. I would be looking at it like, that's impressive. Very nice. As long as it's their own character, not mine. So, I just wanted to show those logos for this last bit before we end this video, so then you know it's from me. Those two logos are from me, okay? Oh, there is something I'm going to show you. I did show my little pendant right here. I made this myself. I know it's a little dirty right there. That's because I wore it, well, I had it for a couple of years, but anyways, I made this into kind of like a lucky charm. A lot of people has been, you know, like, I don't know, it's something, like, they would see it and they'd be like, oh, wow, that's so cool. That's like the best thing I've ever seen. It's like, okay, I mean, made it with a 3D pen. It's plastic. It's filament plastic that I made with a, I forgot what crystal that is. It's like a blue and pink kind of crystal, but I think it's called labradorite or something, or it starts with an L. But of course I got that, and I got dragon teeth that I made. These dragon teeth with beads, little crystal beads that I made. I'm proud of it. It's my necklace. I designed that necklace myself. Of course, I designed this myself. I wrapped this crystal myself. Wrapped it. I did it because I wanted that crystal to be like a necklace part, so I put it on a dog collar. So that's some of my jewelry that I have designed myself, but the necklace, this necklace is my homemade necklace. If I make a business out of that, of course I would let you guys know. I was kind of thinking about it, but I just have to see how well that goes. But for now, I'm just going to focus on what I have planned for this channel. So that is it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. Please hit that subscribe button. That subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button and click on the bell button for notifications. I'll be posting a video every Friday. I will see you in the next video. Cheers.